Space was quiet. Everything across the Orion Collective was running as usual, until one small signal changed everything. At Keir Station, the long-range sensor array detected something impossible. A strange ripple moved through space, as if an invisible force had disturbed the fabric of the universe itself. Dr. Sarah Chin looked at the readings in complete silence. For 3 long seconds, she didn't move. Then her hands began to shake. She looked at the young technician beside her and said, "Get Admiral Aon Quo, right now." Within minutes, the station confirmed the impossible. A massive object had appeared. It was almost the size of a small moon, but something about it made no sense. A ship that large should have been producing enormous amounts of energy. Instead, its power signature was almost invisible. It wasn't attacking. It wasn't accelerating. It was simply drifting toward humanity's inner colonies at a slow, steady speed. Calm, silent, almost as if it already knew that no one could stop it. Within an hour, the information spread across the entire Orion Collective. The Terran Alliance received the report. The Centauri Dominion received it. The Kepler Confederacy received it. The 3 greatest human powers immediately paused every expansion mission. Colonial fleets stopped moving. Military commanders canceled routine operations. Every telescope, every sensor, every satellite was pointed toward the same mysterious visitor. Scientists searched every database they had. Nothing matched. The ship's materials were completely unknown. Its design looked unlike anything humanity had ever built. It didn't break the laws of physics. It simply operated far beyond humanity's understanding. Standing inside the observation deck, Admiral Aon Quo quietly stared at the stars. She had survived decades of war. She had commanded fleets during the Saturn Wars. Very little could surprise her anymore. But this was different. Without taking her eyes off the massive object, she asked only one question. What do we actually know? The answer wasn't comforting. The ship was making tiny course corrections with unbelievable precision. Whoever controlled it understood orbital mechanics better than the greatest human scientists. At its current speed, it would reach Mars in just 72 hours. No weapons had been detected. No communication signals. No shields. No engines that anyone could recognize. Nothing. And somehow, that made it even more terrifying. Back on Earth, governments were already falling into panic. Emergency meetings continued day and night. Military leaders demanded immediate action. The Centauri Dominion began preparing its 7th fleet. Other human powers quietly started mobilizing as well. Fear was spreading faster than the mysterious ship itself, because everyone understood one simple truth. If the visitor was hostile, humanity needed every weapon it had. But if the visitor was peaceful, then pointing thousands of warships at it could turn a peaceful meeting into the beginning of a galactic disaster. No one knew which choice was right, and sometimes, fear makes intelligent civilizations make the worst possible decisions. Admiral Aon Quo knew they needed answers, but she also knew that one wrong move could start a war that humanity could never win. "We're sending a probe," she ordered. "No weapons, no active scans, only passive sensors." The mission was simple. Observe, record, stay as far away as possible. Hours later, a small reconnaissance drone quietly left the human fleet. It approached the mysterious ship from nearly 30 million kilometers away. Every scientist in the Orion Collective watched the live data stream. For 4 hours, everything seemed normal. The alien ship didn't react. It didn't change direction. It didn't send a message. It didn't activate any visible defense systems. It simply continued drifting through space as if the tiny probe didn't even exist. Then, without warning, the transmission stopped. Not because the drone exploded. Not because it was hit by a weapon. Every electronic system simply shut down. Primary computers failed. Backup systems failed. Emergency processors failed. It was as if the laws of technology had suddenly stopped working. The final data reached Keir Station only seconds before complete silence. Scientists replayed the recordings over and over again. There was no attack, no energy beam, no electromagnetic pulse. Nothing. The probe had simply become lifeless. No one could explain how. That mystery should have been a warning. Instead, human fear took control. Before anyone could agree on a peaceful response, the Centauri Dominion made its decision. 3 powerful capital ships suddenly jumped into Mars orbit. Behind them came an entire squadron of fighters. Weapons were fully armed. Targeting systems locked onto the unknown vessel. The Kepler Confederacy quickly moved its own battle group toward Venus. The Terran Alliance joined only hours later. Soon, 3 massive human fleets surrounded the silent visitor. Thousands of soldiers waited for a single command. Then, someone fired.